This is Pace the Nation.
When you climb up that hill, well, eventually you'll come down.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into Pace the Nation, broadcasting back here at Studio 1A here in downtown Arlington, Virginia. We are in the heart of all things important, at least to me. Of course, that's Clarendon. Studio 1A, we are here for episode 285, and I am on a solo mission today as we broadcast here on Friday, September 8th. Big weekend here in Washington, D.C. Start of football season. The fall is here, cross-country season. School is back in session. So that's super exciting. It's really my favorite time of the year. I think it's all things that the fall brings are just awesome. Great running weather, great marathons, football. And we're going to talk a little bit of football, maybe just a little bit of football here today with our guests. Marathons, half marathons, races, all that are probably the best in the fall. So sorry to the audience. It's just going to be me today. Julie is off on assignment doing 200 things for the family is her assignment and her job and everything else that she does. So you'll have to bear with me. It's just going to be me. And we're going to have a great show, though. Excited about our guest. Well, let me just talk about our guest, and then I got another topic I want to discuss with the audience before we get to her. But excited to have on today's program is the race director for the DC Half Marathon, which is an event taking place Sunday, September 17th. So, this podcast will drop on Monday the 11th, and we will be just 6 days away from the September 17th event. And the race director is Hilary Biggs, and she will be joining us on Pace the Nation today. Super excited to talk to Hilary. Hilary has worked with Pacers Running for years and years and has been a number of different roles, including the race director for the New Jersey Marathon, amongst other things with Pacers Running. So excited to have Hilary on the program today. All right, but speaking of races and running, I love a couple stories that come to mind here. When running goes viral and goes bigger than just the niche audience. I love it when we see headlines of running on ESPN or other big publications. Recently, I saw two headlines, and unfortunately, a lot of times they're for reasons that are sensational or some other reason that doesn't necessarily have to do with great athletic performances. One was local kid, Noah Lyles made some noise where he said at the World Championships, as he came home with 3 golds, the 100, the 200, and the 4x1, he came home with 3 golds at the World Championships, and he said, you know why I'm paraphrasing here, love the World Championships? It's because it's the actual championships of the world. In the NBA, they call themselves world champs, but are they really the champions of the world? It's the National Basketball Association that's based out of, it's based out of America, North America. There's maybe a team in Canada or two. But his point was it's not really the World Championships. So that made headlines and made people angry. And, they had a lot of talking heads pontificating about that. I just love to see it, especially he's a local kid who went to what is now Alexandria City High School, T.C. Williams at the time. So love Noah Lyles. Love to see what he did at the World Championships. I just thought that was interesting, and I do love when our sport goes viral like that. So pretty cool. Congrats to Noah Lyles and everybody else who ran World Championships as they prepare for a big year next year with the Olympic Games in Paris. The other sensational story that came out, and I'm going to ask our guest Hilary about this too, was This one I saw on Bleacher Report and ESPN and other areas, the other big sports publications, was that 11,000 runners in the Mexico City Marathon were disqualified for cutting the course. So this is a 30,000 person event. You know, the New York City Marathon, probably the biggest. They're probably at 40 to 50. You know, now that they're back, we're back post COVID. They're probably 50,000. Marine Corps Marathon will probably have around 25 to 30,000. So this race is a pretty large race in Mexico City, around 30,000 runners. So 1/3 of them were disqualified for cutting the course. So that was pretty interesting. And, again, love to see our sport in major publications and headlines. But seeing that 11,000 runners cut the course with the idea that they'd get a faster time by, not running the entire course. We've had we've had a number of guests in the past talking about how that is a thing to try to get a Boston qualifying time. Maybe that's what they were all doing, but an interesting story there that 11,000 runners were disqualified, and you catch them because they don't hit every checkpoint. But you know what? There's a lot of good stories out there in running. Again, all good pub is all publicity is good publicity to me. But we'll ask Hilary about that situation, what she would do as the race director of a pretty big race here in DC. All right, 2 stories that I just wanted to put out there and get people's thoughts. We'll tweet them out at Pace the Nation as well. But next up, excited to be joined by the race director of the DC Half. Hilary Biggs joins us next here on Pace the Nation.
Pace the Nation is brought to you by Pacers Running Stores. Pacers has 5 stores in Northern Virginia and DC. For the best running footwear, apparel, and gear, just stop by or schedule a virtual fitting with the best running experts in the business. Pacers Running exists to help as many people as possible through running. For every run, it's Pacers Running.
All right, welcome back to the program. And now we are excited to be joined by the race director of the DC Half. It's our friend, Hilary Biggs. Hilary, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Great to see you. I'm doing well. Thank you so
having me.
much for joining us on Pace the Nation. Is this your first visit on Pace the Nation? Have you
It
been on
is.
Pace? It is. Wow.
It's my
a
first
landmark day.
visit on any podcast.
Oh, no way. Oh, awesome. Well, thrilled to have you. Thank you for making the time. You're not home right now. Where are you? What are you doing?
I
What's
am
going on?
in
What am I taking
Spain.
away from here?
I know. 6 months ago, I planned a trip to do a 14er in Breckenridge,
No
Colorado.
way. Oh,
So as this race approached, I thought this might be the craziest thing I can do this weekend. But I'm making it work. So I'm
That's
in
awesome.
Silverthorne, Colorado right now.
Silverthorne with friends, with family, with
Friends, 5 amazing women who
That's
are gonna
awesome.
crush this mountain tomorrow. Yep.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you for making some time. The race is September 17th. So if you're listening to this show when we drop it on Monday, September 11th, there may be still time to sign up if you want to do a half marathon, the best half marathon in Washington, D.C. But registration has been brisk, and, we just eclipsed a good milestone today, right?
Yep. This morning, 5,003 athletes are ready to go next
That's
Sunday.
awesome.
Yep.
That is really cool. So still time to sign up if you want to get in on the DC Half Marathon. That website, you can check us out, is dchalf.com. So
I think
one of the
DCMarathon.com. Yep.
dchalfmarathon.com. Thank you for making sure that correction. All right. So dchalfmarathon.com. All right. So we're going to talk about all that you're doing for the DC Half, but you've been with Pacers for a few years. You live in Princeton, New Jersey. You started working at Pacers when we had a store in Princeton, New Jersey. And that's a long story for another podcast. So we're going to have to get you back on. But tell me what you did. Like, what did you do? And when did you first start working in sports?
Um, Literally straight out of college. My
Okay.
first job was with International Management Group, IMG, at the
Mhm.
time, biggest sports marketing company in the world. Dream job was me, an executive assistant to a super powerful woman who did special projects in Washington, D.C.
Huh.
I was there for a few years when kind of a Jerry Maguire situation happened, where our basketball agents were based in DC and
Okay.
they broke away, started their own agency. The first African American owned sports agency
Very
at the
cool.
time. Yep.
Very
So
cool.
I moved with them,
Hmm.
left IMG, worked for them for 3 or 4 years, managing professional basketball player and football player, like partnerships with
Okay.
their sponsors. So I would like
And,
facilitate photo shoots and stuff like that.
and so young Hilary Biggs at the
Yeah.
time, what did you want to do? What did you want to be when you grew up?
I just wanted to be in sports in
Okay.
any way possible. I
Okay.
just think it's exciting. I think, you know,
Yeah.
that pursuit is exciting, is
Yep.
inspirational, you know.
Yep. Were you an athlete in college? Were you a runner? Did you
I
run?
was a soccer player
Okay.
and a lacrosse player
Got it.
in
Okay.
college. Yeah.
All right. So
So then
young,
little young Hillary, the Women's United Soccer Association, the first women's professional league,
mhm.
started in 2000, and I was sort of following that. I see that they're going to have a team in DC, the Washington Freedom. I see that Mia Hamm is their founding player, who was a hero of mine.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm just going to send them, I'm just going to send them a letter, as we did in the late 90s. A
And,
physical
for
letter.
those who are listening, she's typing it out. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's a typewriter or if
that's
that's
a
a
typewriter.
computer. Yeah, typewriter.
No, it was probably a computer. It was probably
We probably had email in 2000, but for those young listeners,
just
yeah,
barely. I don't think I knew what email was going on. But yeah, and as luck should have it, someone got the letter,
yep,
and I interviewed for the league, and then I interviewed for the Washington Freedom, and was given the job of marketing and sponsorship director.
wow,
Which, what I've just shared is like, I was a small time
right,
sports person just making my way, big leap, right? But that is a reflection of how all the stuff was happening for that league.
yep.
It was all new. No one knew what they were doing. We were just trying to make it work. And it
At
was,
the time, were there like WNBA leagues? Were there women's
I
leagues
think
at the
the
time?
WNBA
It
existed.
just probably was getting going. Yeah, it's
Yep.
not what it is today for sure.
Yeah. No,
But,
but it was the start of what it
yep,
is today,
yep,
right?
yep.
It was, the intention was to build a legitimate professional league for women's soccer.
Okay,
And
so this
we
is
had,
young Hillary.
yeah, this is young Hillary.
Young,
Yeah.
young Hillary wanted to do this. This is probably before kids. Were you married at the time?
I was the oldest. I felt like I was the oldest person on the staff at 30 years old.
Right.
The
Okay.
general manager was 26
Yeah.
of the team, or something like that.
Wow.
It was, and we had just like a super exciting young team just figuring it out. And our offices were at RFK Stadium. Our
Mhm.
games were there. We would have lunch sitting out in the seats on the concourse. And it was just my dream job at
That's
the time.
awesome.
Like, it couldn't
At
have
the
been
time.
more exciting.
And
At the
then
time,
at the
right?
time, and then how long did that last?
So the great news is it was like 3 exciting years, and
Yeah.
the terribly sad news is that it folded in 2003. I was part of the group that tried to resurrect that league for the next probably 18 months or so,
Right.
and they just couldn't quite get it back off the ground. So, yeah, sad news is it ended then. I think the next version of the league did resurface probably 3-4 years later,
Yeah.
but a new ownership group, and yeah.
So you have 3 kids. When did you have your first? When was
So
Charlie's?
actually, when the league folded, I was
Yeah,
8
pregnant
months pregnant with my daughter.
with your daughter. Who's your
Yeah,
oldest? Got it.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, who's my middle child? I
Middle
have
middle child. So
children.
Charlie's your Charlie is what so you had Charlie when you were working there. Got it.
Oh yeah, I was always pregnant while I was there for some reason, and that
Yes.
was a huge comedy for the whole team. They were like, "What is
Oh,
it?"
very
Like
cool.
just waddling around all over the place.
All
But
right. Well, it's funny that there's this full circle. You were in DC at the time, your dream
Mhm,
job. Now you're in your dream job as the
mhm.
race director. I'm
Exactly.
projecting here a little bit here. I'm
Oh,
projecting, but your
absolutely
dream,
true.
dream
Very
job.
exciting. I see the full circleness
Yeah.
of it. Is that a word? Full circleness?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. For
Okay.
full circleness of it all. You're talking about working at RFK Stadium,
Mhm.
all those things. But and your journey is non-traditional, and there's a lot
Yep.
of different there's a lot of different twists and turns. But I wanted to highlight you lived overseas, I believe,
Mhm.
in China for
That's
a
right.
bit.
Yep.
So tell me about that
So
stint.
my husband also, is in sports and has
Mhm.
been his entire career in a less chaotic way than I have been. He
Yeah.
does corporate partnerships, and at the time, he was working for the NBA league office,
Mhm.
and they said to him, "Hey, at the time, this was 2011. They had a
Mhm.
big office in Beijing, 100 employees. They needed help with corporate partnerships and organizing that effort. And they said, is this something you would ever consider? Which seems crazy. He has 3 young children at the
Right.
time. And it also seemed like something that would never be asked of us twice. So just go for it. So we did. We took the whole family for 3 years. We were in China,
Wow.
and it felt like the greatest, craziest vacation we've ever had.
Wow.
Like it was an amazing adventure. Yep.
How old were the kids, roughly?
Kids were 5, 7, and 9.
Did you have to know the language, or everybody could speak
So
English?
I never learned the language. I
Yeah.
tried, but I am
Right.
not strong in that area.
Right.
My
Right.
children, however, they were like little sponges. It was a great time for them.
Yep.
They're young enough to not really understand where they are, right? They're like,
Yep.
"Oh, we're just going where our family is."
Yep.
But they learn the language every single day at school. Remarkable school over there. And all 3 of them continue to study Mandarin today. As
Wow,
a
that's
result,
really cool.
yeah. Mhm.
All right, and this is a total side, and we're going to get to the
Okay.
race. So
I
hang
know,
with
I
me,
know.
audience.
Who cares
Hang
about
with
that?
me.
Yeah.
This is really interesting to me, and so we're
Yeah.
going to talk about what's interesting to me.
Mhm.
So, my our mutual friend,
Mhm.
good friend, Josh Levinson. He'll listen to the podcast.
Mhm.
I first learned of Hilary Biggs when Josh went to, I believe, China.
His family went around the world,
Yep.
right? Took a year to travel the world.
Yep.
Um, Josh and my sister-in-law know each other, but they just sent us a note and said, "Hey, we're going to be in China. Can you help us find a place to stay?" And we said, "No, of course, come stay with
It was
us."
you.
Their family came, stayed with us for a week, and to this day, like, I adore the Levinson family.
They're great.
It was meant to be. We had the
That's really
greatest
cool.
week,
So Josh,
and
yeah,
that's the reason, Chris,
I
I'm
know.
working for you right
So,
now.
so again,
Yeah.
yeah, this is a little bit of a side, but so Josh
Yeah.
Levinson owns Charm City Run, an amazing chain of stores in Baltimore, just up the road. Your husband's from Baltimore. Anyway, so he introduced me to Hillary. I had an exchange with Josh yesterday, who's still a dear, I mean, just a dear friend to
Mhm.
both of us.
Mhm.
He said that Hillary was just on loan.
Oh,
So
that's
she might not be working for
long-term loan.
yeah. I
Yeah.
said, hey, well, I'll have my attorney reach out to you, Josh. So
Okay, one little
anyway,
thing, Josh, our daughters are at University of Vermont together.
oh, that's very
Like,
cool.
it's
So
crazy.
cool.
Crazy
That's cool.
small world. Yeah.
So your husband, and we're going to get to the race. So your husband, I am a lifelong DC sports fan, and I think that's why Josh and I first connected. He's a lifelong Baltimore fan. I'm DC fan. So we connect over sports and following our sports teams. So your husband
Mhm.
worked for the NBA and then now works for the group who just bought the Commanders, right?
That's right.
Is
So
that
he works for Harris Blitzer Sports
Okay.
Entertainment.
So
and
Chad Biggs. Chad Biggs.
Chad
works for-
Biggs. He was started with the Sixers with them.
Yeah.
Also, always in corporate partnerships. He does work with. He works with the Devils now.
Mhm.
They acquire the Commanders. It is super exciting. This company, I think, I think they're unique in this way. Like they don't just have basketball or hockey, or they have properties in all different sports. Crystal Palace, Premier League, right? Commanders now. They just got Joe Gibbs Racing.
Some sort of partnership.
Exciting. The Sixers, I think that was among the first big properties that they took over. And, when Chad joined that group, I think the Sixers were being accused of tanking. They're low. And look where they are now.
I know. So this group knows how to do it. Again, as a lifelong Washington football
Chris, they know how to do it. And the Devils, the same thing. Young, exciting team, contenders. So
really, and who knows what the future holds? I'm lobbying for Chad to get a job down here. So you're down here full time in DC again, full circle. But we'll see whatever happens there. But I first learned of what Chad's position when I was invited to sit front row at a Sixers game. So that was pretty nice. So thank you. And my kids got Embiid jerseys, and so anyway, so that was pretty.
I don't think you had 3 boys then.
I had 2 at the time. Yep, 2 at the time, and they wore Embiid jerseys. And my friends were like, "I thought you were a Wizards fan." I said, "You know what? I'm a Hilary and Chad fan, and I like sitting front row at the Sixers game." So. So that's a really, really cool connection. Again, who knows what the future holds, but excited about that, and excited about whatever happens with the Commanders. I think they're in much better hands, and hopefully Chad can be a part of it. So super cool. Last thing on football, and then we're going to move on. So now that they bought the team, you have to be a Commanders fan, right?
So are you sure we want to talk about this?
I know.
I am a lifelong New York Giants fan.
It's hard to change your allegiance. You can change any other allegiance other than NFL football. Yeah,
it's tough.
So Giants fan. Yeah.
But Chad himself, he's got to become a super.
He's a free agent. He's going to come on. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. He's a free agent.
That's cool. All right. Well, we're with Hilary Biggs. DCHalfMarathon.com is the website. And the race is September 17th. So you again, twists and turns of your journey professionally. You became a race director with us when we bought the New Jersey Marathon. How many years ago was that? How many years ago we
took over New Jersey, the New Jersey Marathon in 2016.
Yep.
Before that, I was doing smaller events in and around Princeton, including I worked with you and Julie on Run of the Mill.
Yep, that's right. Run of the Mill.
And my son Charlie, that was one of his first jobs, working packet pickup for
Charlie,
that.
her oldest son. Yep.
Yep. Teeny tiny at the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now he's running the half marathon next week.
That's exactly
very cool.
Right.
And he's at Georgetown. Your son is
at Georgetown. Yep. Senior
DC connections. Mm-hmm. So you were the race director of the New Jersey Marathon, big race, maybe 10,000 people.
Yep.
Were you scared when Kathy and I said, "Hey, you're going to take this thing over, and what do you think?" And intimidated by that race? To
this day, I remain intimidated, nervous about all of it. But I think our success lies in like the people I work with at New Jersey. I always felt like, Kathy literally just asked me as I was walking through some event that I was just working.
You were helping. You're volunteering probably.
Like we're walking by baggage check. And she's like, what do you think about maybe taking on this New Jersey Marathon project? Like never saying like directing it. It was always a little bit vague. but so I'll never lose the I'm in awe of these events. They're
Yeah.
exciting, and how it all comes to work at 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning is amazing. But I think it's about the team you have around you. Like I felt like in New Jersey, I was helping a team of experts. Like they
Yep.
all knew so much more than I did about their specific pieces of the race. So I just tried to stay out of their way,
Yeah.
find ways that I can support them, and then hope for the best. And
Yep.
and it seemed to be a recipe for some success. I really
No, yeah, absolutely. We
think so.
grew that race. This is that was a fine event by Pacers Running, as we say, and this is DC Half is also a fine event by Pacers Running. You grew that race, awesome. So now you take on this challenge. We're at over 5,000. How many runners did we have last year in this
We had
race?
about 3,200.
Wow.
And I think the history with the race is that it was originally to be launched when COVID hit.
Correct. Yep.
It had a setback for that reason, but now in its third in-person year, I really think these 2 years have put the foundation for this thing to grow and be super exciting. Without that foundation, without the work that has been done in the last 2 years, we wouldn't be able to say, hey, we just added 2,000 more runners. We've not
Yep.
doubled it, but we were hoping that we could even get to that. And
Yeah.
that's not without the work that's happened for the last two seasons.
Absolutely. And it, like you said, it's a team. I mean, I think the marketing really lands. What's been really interesting to us is that about half of the participants are coming from this age group that's really a coveted, hard to connect with age group of 18 to 28 or
Yeah.
18 to 29.
Yep, 48% of our runners.
48% are runners. So we got
Half
about
of our runners.
so
Yeah.
what are you doing? How do you connect with this young audience? Because you
don't
got
know,
kids
Chris.
that age. What is it?
Happening out there? What's the secret? Someone
Yeah.
tell me. 'Cause
Yeah. So
I don't want to mess it up.
so it's you don't have the have the answer. I just thought it maybe Charlie was doing
You
something,
touched
or I
on
don't
it.
know.
Like I think our marketing is hitting the right marks, right?
Yeah.
And people are responding to that. But that maybe it's also a reflection of people are excited to get back to these in-person exciting experiences.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I really feel it for the first time since COVID. I really feel it from this race. This is it. I may have said that for Parkway previously, but I really feel like this is it. We're back. And that's
Yeah.
super exciting.
Yeah, I agree. And 90% of it is a beautiful sunny day on
Yeah.
Sunday the 17th.
100%.
And I'm hoping for that. And we're going to deliver a safe, exciting, fun, rewarding race that day.
Yeah. So go in a little bit more into that. Like, what is the hook? What is it about the DC half? What should runners be really excited about?
I think it's a great course,
Mhm.
right? You get like many races in DC, you run by beautiful, beautiful monuments.
Yep.
Out Haines Point, up Rock Creek Park. This year we have added 5 cheer stations along the way. They are sponsored by local local run clubs,
Yep.
including November Project, Front Runners, DC Front Runners, but also We Off the Couch is coming from
Yep.
Richmond. They're going to be the first cheer station along the way. And from what I understand, they bring the energy.
The energy. Yes.
And so they're going to be at the beginning of the race, and then they're going to bring everybody home for the finish. And
Yep.
I know you know more about them than I do.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony is an unbelievable. Anthony and Tara are unbelievable individuals. We've had them on the program in the past, and they do bring the energy. I would just warn the runners, like, don't go out too hard because of all the we off
Right,
the couch.
that's true. That's a good point.
So, but when at the end, they will definitely bring you home.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. It's a to me, I mean, it's just kind of what you said. it's the best way to tour Washington, D.C.,
Mhm.
to see all
Mhm.
the monuments. If you're coming from out of town, from Richmond, like a lot of these runners are, you're touring the monuments, you're seeing things, and you're getting in a nice long run
Yep.
on the way.
Yep.
But you're right. It's contingent on it being a beautiful
Mhm.
weather day.
Mhm.
I see the temperature continuing to creep down as we sit
That's
in a
right.
really hot time of year, but I can see it creep down. So we're looking forward to that. What scares you about race day? Is there anything that you really worry about, or is there something right now that's keeping you up at night, or
There are
um,
100 things
a
keeping
hundred things? Yeah,
It's a lot for me. It's a lot about I only know what I know. Like, what
yeah,
are the things that, but again, that's where working with a great team, the Pacers events staff, they have seen this race and many others, and they've
yep.
seen a million challenges. And so I am leaning on them. I have asked a billion questions, and
Yep.
they're all as basic as you can imagine, but just like, well, how does it work here? And how best does it work? And what have you seen before? And I've had amazing support from the people who have worked these events in the past. So,
No doubt. And
yeah,
work the events, and then also support from multiple jurisdictions,
of
which
course.
there's a lot of organizing there, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
you're not just DC police, you're what your
US
parks and
Park Police
yeah,
couldn't be more kind and to me in the last few weeks, like just walking me through it.
yeah,
So, yeah,
that's awesome.
they know what they're doing
Yeah.
for sure.
And we got a great timing group who always partners with us with Albany Running Exchange, so they'll be there. So the results will be on point. I was I prefaced before you came on the show talking about some big stories that were in ESPN and Bleacher Report. One of those was this story. Did you hear about the Mexico City Marathon where they had 11,000 runners like go off course
Right.
and
So,
basically cheat
but
to
that's what they were saying. They
yeah,
can't
yeah,
runners are not cheaters.
I know,
And
yeah,
but if they have 30,000 runners in
yep,
that event, amazing.
right.
11,000 of them have chosen to cheat that day. Can't be true, right?
It didn't make sense. It
Right?
was
And then
sensationalized
it was
on
I
ESPN and other outlets, but yeah,
yeah. Did 11,000 just have a bike positioned right off course just to get
that's a
them
good
down the
point.
way? I
You know
don't
what? That's a good point. I came on the show. I wanted your perspective on it. So
think it's like
you say
based on
something fishy.
maybe there's one cheater and everyone
Yeah,
was like, "Oh, I'll
well,
follow that guy."
accidentally.
Right.
Yeah.
Oops. Had
Yeah.
a
So yeah, that's a good point because I don't know how you would have 11,000
yeah.
people actually
Yeah.
doing that. So okay, so see, I got so audience, Pace the Nation audience, I got the take of
I have no
an
idea.
official race director, something fishy out there.
I do
Also,
not want any cheaters at DC.
no, and we will catch you. We will
Right.
catch you. I'm pointing
Yeah.
in the camera right now.
Right.
We will catch you.
Exactly.
Hillary is not going to
We'll
put up
find
with
you.
it. Yeah, we will find
Mhm.
you. All right, we're gonna get you out of here, but just a couple more things here, Hillary. Really excited about the race and then the gear. We've got some
Yeah.
partnership. We got a partnership with our 202 apparel. You can find that gear on runpacers.com. That is DC Half Inspired, a collection by Run Pacers and 202. So check that out, runpacers.com. And we've got tech shirts for everybody
Yep.
who's running the race.
Mhm.
And I wish I was wearing one right now, but I saw those in the warehouse. Super excited about the swag. And it's just going to be a great day. I mean, a half marathon for those who haven't run. I mean, it's just an amazing accomplishment, right? I mean,
Mhm.
it's just
It is. Yeah.
it's truly an
Yeah.
inspiring, it's a life-changing thing, right?
For sure. I mean, what is that expression? If you want to see a humanity go
Yep,
cheer on a marathon, like it is
absolutely.
all walks of life, and
Yep,
they are individually pursuing a goal, and
yep.
they're all different, probably every single one.
Absolutely.
And there they are doing it right in front of you. It's pretty exciting.
It's a beautiful thing. And I know you're at the start and, on the course, or you see this wave of humanity just going in unison as the race starts. You can't beat it. It is a
Right.
beautiful thing.
Supporting
Yeah.
each other along the way,
Yep.
strangers, like, let's figure this out together. I see you're struggling. I'm going to pick you up. I'm sure I'll be struggling a mile down the way. You're
Yep.
going to turn it around and help me get there.
Yep.
It's a lesson in life, really.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. Well,
Yeah.
September 17th, it's going to be awesome.
Hey, Chris, I want to mention
yeah.
one more important partner that I have, and that's
Yes.
Adidas. Adidas
Yes.
is supporting us this year as they did last year. And one of the things that we're doing is a shakeout run on Friday night.
Awesome.
Out of our Georgetown store, September 15th, 6 p.m.
Yep.
They'll have shoes to try on. We'll go for a short run, get loose for Sunday. So
that's awesome. I'm glad you mentioned that. And the packet pickup will be at the Georgetown store.
Yep.
On Friday and Saturday, September 15th and 16th. And this show will come out the 11th. So, folks who are running the race, I know a number of you listening will be running the race. You can check out that shakeout run, pick your packet up. It's going to be an awesome weekend. Really, really excited.
Really excited. I'm
well,
really nervous, but
you're going to do great. You know what you should be nervous about, Hilary?
Yeah.
You should be more nervous about this 14er you got tomorrow.
I know what.
So you're in Colorado right now.
I know.
You're in
I
Colorado.
bought shoes the day before yesterday
man.
for the hike, which is, rule number one. Don't do
Yes.
that for your race.
No, what are you doing?
Wear shoes that will work. Well, I'm not doing that. I've chosen.
So you're out in Breckenridge. Breckenridge, is that right?
Yep.
Breckenridge, you do a 14er. You had planned this long before.
Before I got this job, I cleared it with Kathy, although I
Yep.
didn't remind her of it in the last month. But now she'll hear it, maybe.
A quick trip there. So, enjoy it. You deserve it. Because basically, the work is done for next week at this point. The work is done. Now you just got to execute on race day, which I know you will.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Great stuff, Hilary.
Chris.
Looking forward. Thank you. Great job on your first podcast. You're a pro. We'll get you back. We'll talk about,
one and done.
many more races in the future and dive into your history, all the other stuff that you've done. But all right, looking forward to September 17th, DC halfmarathon.com. Still time to sign up. Race director Hilary Biggs. Hilary, great stuff. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
All right. Have a great time out there. There she goes, Hilary Biggs, race director of the DC Half. We're going to take a quick break. Be right back after this.
Pace the Nation is brought to you by Pacers Running Stores. Pacers has 5 stores in Northern Virginia and DC. For the best running footwear, apparel, and gear, just stop by or schedule a virtual fitting with the best running experts in the business. Pacers Running exists to help as many people as possible through running. For every run, it's Pacers Running.
All right, welcome back to the program. Thanks again to the race director of the DC Half Marathon, Hilary Biggs, for joining us. A friend and awesome, understated, humble race director of the DC Half Marathon. She talked about her team and all that they do. I'll tell you what, we are in good hands. I'll be running the race Sunday, and we are in good hands with Hilary Biggs at the helm. It's going to be a great event, and I know there is a ton of excitement around it. And another thing that we didn't mention, the magic of it is it's perfect timing if you want a good long run for your for Marine Corps or New York or Philly or whatever you're doing this fall marathon wise. It is an awesome event and a good prep for those fall marathons. All right. We got some exciting couple of shows coming up. I just saw Julie. She couldn't make this show today, but she will be back next time. So for Julie, who's not here, thank you for joining us. This has been Pace the Nation. We will see you next week.